My lords, today we are going to hear the wonderful tale of the Oviron Lodge. This was an empire of avians obsessed with treasure hunting and collecting rare artifacts from across the galaxy. It also happens to include the greatest pirate to have ever existed in our galaxy. The avian intrigue was influenced by the discovery of a relic that they found in orbit of their homeworld, a celestial object which contained within it a partial map. They wondered, was it left behind by a benefactor for them to find, or was it simply mere coincidence? I shall begin with a brief introduction into the Lodge, and then their story as they investigate this mysterious relic. There is no greater joy to an Ovirian than unearthing something of value. Aerial prospectors have long been revered on Atlantis, our homeworld. Gliding through its perilous chasms in search of precious metals and ancient artifacts, we believe that this innate gathering instinct is what remains of our primal courtship behaviours. Even in this modern age, traditional art forms of quartz beading and earthenware sculpture are key cultural industries. It is disrespectful in our culture to enter another's home without bringing a quality gift. This tradition has fostered a deep sense of humility and companionship among our people, resulting in very little conflict amongst our society. But, as our technology continues to advance, we now raise our wings to the stars. What unimaginable treasures might the stars hold? Upon finding a mysterious map in a capsule orbiting our homeworld, it is as if destiny is calling us. Our most dangerous flight now begins. We have made a breakthrough regarding the ancient capsule found orbiting our homeworld. Thanks to the tireless efforts of our scientists, we are now in a position to decrypt the final layer of digital security and decipher the chart that has intrigued us for so long. Our initial analysis of the chart inside of the capsule revealed the location of several celestial bodies that were not present in our home system, and it will take some time to extract the coordinates. It took several years to extract the proper coordinates, but we finally realized that the chart was only partially complete. The data within the capsule was fragmented, each conspicuous gap like the missing piece of a puzzle. Nevertheless, it did reveal the coordinates of a previously unknown star system, but it did not provide any detail as to what awaits us there. The chart also highlights a series of established breach points to facilitate hyperlane travel to the destination. The population of our homeworld has become enthralled with the recently discovered star chart, and we are commonly referring to it as the Celestial Chart. So far, it provides more questions than answers. Where did it come from? Who created it? And for what purpose? And perhaps most importantly, will it lead us into a trap? But analysis of the chart identified a system we have named Blaksam. Docking braces away, we are making haste to explore this new system. Upon entering the new system for the first time, we encountered a heavily armed fleet flying an unknown flag. Perhaps it was a trap after all. Their ships are in an organized formation, but they are not uniform in their design. Many appear to be outfitted with kinetic launchers attached to thick reels of cable, tipped with carbon steel hooks and harpoons. Additionally, there is a group of armoured haulers sheltered in the centre of the fleet. We can only summarise that these ships are controlled by a group of pirates or mercenaries, and their weapons are for boarding actions. We are receiving a transmission from their lead ship. Distinguished and haughty, this outlaw captain feigns a disinterest. He looks down his beak when speaking and refuses to meet our gaze as if we are unworthy of his full attention. He gesticulates with his feathers in an inadvertently comical manner. He speaks. You have crossed the path of the Black Needle, a blunder on your part. We caught wind of a rumour that your burgeoning little society would be exploring this system. You have stumbled upon a chart that clearly belongs to us. Hand it over, lest things become violent. We asked the creature who he was. Who am I? My name is Gilamahu Zelmendron, but you may refer to me as Captain Hu, second mate lieutenant of the illustrious Black Needle Pirates. We have had our feathers in every variety of illicit dealings for thousands of years, and I am but one thread in the majestic tapestry of our legacy. You would do well to remember my name, as I expect a significant bounty after presenting this chart to our peerless leader." We asked him what he knew of the chart, to which he responded. "A talented and very expensive information broker informed us that you recently stumbled upon a particular capsule. A capsule that is supposed to contain directions to a hidden system of great interest to us. We ourselves also claimed a piece of the chart, but it is useless without the data from your capsule. I cannot fathom why Captain Ness would give you the key to her legacy, but it falls to us to relieve you of it. Although we are threatened, this captain seemed quite happy to talk, so we asked why they wanted the chart so badly, and he replied again. You really are quite so naive. Perhaps your ancestors had one too many pecks to the cranium. I guess I have to spell it out for you. A chart functions as a form of navigatory guidance towards a specific destination. We wish to visit that destination and claim the long-lost treasure of Captain Ness. Captain Ness is the one who created the chart. Perhaps she found your species' ignorance to be relatable, the thoughtless terror that she was. Ultimately, it is none of your concern. Hand over the information and we will take it from here." We told the good captain where to go, and that we would be keeping our celestial star chart for ourselves. He was not in the least bit happy, and he sent us one final message. "You have made a mockery of myself and the Black Needle. This will not stand, not at all. Your unwillingness to cooperate will not be forgotten. The Black Needle will come for you with all we have. Your fledgling civilization will not survive our wrath. We will not stop until that chart is ours. And now, I bid you good day." With that, communications were cut off. The pirates powered their weapon systems and began peppering our science vessel. A strike force was patrolling in the nearby neighbouring system and came to our aid. The battle was over quickly, our forces quickly overpowering the pirates, annihilating them piecemeal. We could now explore the Blaksam system in peace, and it soon became clear that the point of interest was a planet in 8 pieces, shattered by some sort of calamity. After hours of scanning the broken world, we detected an unnatural tunnel drilled into the largest slab of the planetary crust. It required days of careful excavation, but eventually a capsule was successfully extracted from the drifting planetary debris alongside a quantity of minerals. Upon opening it, we discovered a new piece of the celestial chart and a selection of unique cultural artifacts. Additionally, a note was found inside, written in multiple languages to allow for easier translation. The note read, "This is all that remains of Sauropegma, the Ytterite homeworld. The Ytterite were a pre-FTL species rendered extinct as a result of a tragic accident. Unaware of the impending consequences, we accidentally triggered the destructive power of a stolen colossus. Please preserve and respect their memory." After excavating the capsule from the remains of the shattered planet, we needed to decipher the navigation data within. This process will require cross-referencing our cartographic database and charting the marked celestial bodies against known systems. After breaking through multiple layers of encryption, the new data was added seamlessly to the celestial chart. Once the pieces were combined, yet another new system was revealed. The next step of our journey now lies before us, and we should approach this uncharted area of space with caution. On a side note, however, following the acquisition of the specimen, designated the Ytterite Kaleidoscopic Fascinator, our science teams believe that it deserves to be placed on public display in the context of a grand archive. This grand archive would house our budding collection of rare artifacts, which will reap a significant cultural and scientific return. An early-stage investment would kickstart the research into the techniques and technologies required to preserve and display the galaxy's diverse and delicate specimens. Additionally, a blueprint found alongside the Ytterite artifact was discovered containing an advanced design for a display case with an innovative atmospheric monitoring technology. Developing this idea further would enhance the preservation capabilities of the archive in general. And thus, we submitted the plans to the Council for such a megastructure. it would surely be a fitting monument to our people. But back to the mystery of the Celestial Chart and the Ragabond pirates, the Black Needle. The new data indicated a previously hidden system, designated Couke. We make haste to explore this strange new system. Upon surveying Couke, we discovered a covert underground base bearing the insignia of the Black Needle. We believed that this was an external base used by the piracy group that was isolated from their other operations. The next piece of the Celestial Chart must be stored here, likely alongside other riches and baubles. The base was, however, occupied, and we had a choice to make. We could easily begin the bombardment of their base, but this may give the Black Needle the time that they needed to call for reinforcements. On the other hand, a rapid deployment of our ground forces would more swiftly seize the base, giving little time for the enemy to respond. And lastly, there was a more clandestine approach. This would be to hack into the base's computer systems and secure the Celestial Chart piece. After much consideration, we chose to assault the base with elite ground troopers. We did not want to risk the data cache being damaged in any bombardment, and frankly, our hacking skills just weren't up to standard. The underground base was protected by a significant number of troops and security drones, but our ground forces made short work of them and are currently securing the building and its surrounding resource. With all threats neutralized, we can send in a science team to extract the next piece of the Celestial Chart. Exploring the battered Black Needle base, we found a blueprint of the facility that revealed the existence of an underground vault. Descending deep beneath the earth in a service elevator, we entered the access code to reveal a small treasure trove of their ill-gotten gains. This safe room contained a wide variety of valuable items, as well as sentimental trinkets linked to the history of the pirate organization. We found the chart capsule amongst stolen artwork, personalized jewelry, and encrypted digital wallets. We suspect that many of the goods discovered here would be difficult to sell. The artworks are recognizable, the jewelry would need to be melted down for scrap, and transactions using digital wallets are usually traceable. Some of the previous owners of these items may be long dead, but others could still be looking for their stolen possessions. Although some at the time wanted to repatriate the stolen items, we thought it better to keep them. Perhaps they could be used for leverage in the future, but for now, the best artifacts are going to go on display in our now finished Grand Archive. With the third map piece in our possession, decryption started in earnest. It did not take long before we successfully overcame the layers of digital encryption and integrated the new information into the Celestial Chart. This revealed yet another destination to explore, and now the chart is almost complete. We believe that there is only one piece of the puzzle remaining, and are cautiously optimistic that the end of our quest is in sight. While the navigational data was being decoded, the unblemished exterior of the capsule itself was deemed worthy of analysis. The strength and durability of the container was surprising, and the ability to replicate the material could provide many potential opportunities for future research. A positive result indeed. We are now on to the next destination, the Calicajak system, in the hope to discover more about Captain Ness and her hidden treasure hoard. We soon entered the Calicajak system, which most interestingly had a Class T brown dwarf, a rare sight indeed. That, however, was not why we visited. We soon found a small settlement with a population of less than 1,000 sentient molluscoids. Preliminary biological analysis of the species showed a capacity for subspace communication, indicating the existence of a hive mind. Other than this isolated encampment, the planet was uninhabited by any other sentient life. And we landed planetside in hope for a pleasant, non-hostile meeting for once. A node of the hive mind stood before us. It fidgeted with discomfort. It had a tendency to lower its gaze when spoken to, as if accustomed to subservience. It spoke. It be double long wise since we speak to one minds. Our name is Smegib. We are curious how you find us. This system is hidden from galactic view for 1,000 years. Only the captain knows of this place. You seek what? This planet is our quarters. We live twice safe, far from a violent galaxy. Before now we joined violence, killing, crime, piracy. We do it all. No more. We tend our hydroponics. Before then, we are refugees. No one takes us in until the captain. She saves us from a bad fate and allows us to join her crew. The captain gives us a new name, and in exchange we take care of the ship. We do clean, cooking, munitions, hydroponics and cargo. We work. Then we join boarding party, protect the captain when she steals treasure or does kidnapping, never betray the captain. Always, we are loyal. We queried with this being what it knew of the celestial chart, to which it responded, Smarak, we know of no chart. We only stay in our quarters. If the captain makes a chart to bring you here, there must be a reason why. She wants to help us, or harm us. We are never sure. The captain can be tricky. She messages us one at a time. The captain sends us a giant statue of her favourite drone, the Smegib. She remembers, and she saves from before. It is impressive, but we not know why she sends. Maybe she wants to apologise, but she leaves no note. Before now, the captain saves us. Before she is our mentor and leader, she teaches us to take care of the ship. She says, Smegib, work as quartermaster, mechanic, and labour. You are excellent value. She lives by two creeds. Wealth is independence, and life exists for legacy. Together we hunt the poor and the rich. We take what we want from the violent galaxy. But then the captain is twice greedy and twice reckless. She sacrifices crewmates or betrays them for bounty. The captain loses everyone but Smegib. Always we are loyal. She shows us how a violent galaxy is. Now, we prefer to stay away. But we are not sure why the captain brings you here. She tells us nothing. There is one idea. There is a place where together, we and the captain, we hide from bounty dogs. Safe quarters. Maybe you find something there. This hive creature, most irritatingly, marked Blaksam as the location of the safe house. Although we valued the information greatly, we had already been there, as this was the first location where we fought and defeated the Black Needle pirates. But perhaps we had missed something, and so we headed back towards the Blaksam star system. Upon resurveying the first planet in the Blaksam system, we detected a small prefabricated shelter equipped with dormant life support devices and living quarters. They are heavily weathered and partially buried under millennia of ice storms. Clearly my science officer will have to be reprimanded for missing the shelter on the first pass. Nevertheless, we set to digging through the remains. The excavated structure showed evidence of long periods of use. It was once well stocked with basic amenities. Trinkets and curios have been discovered strewn throughout the building. Within a pile of messy papers, we recovered a log entry written by Captain Ness herself. It read, We boarded and hijacked another Parechian treasure transport, but this time they were ready for us. More collateral than I'd like, but we've handled worse. Decent payout, but the Tapico jewel continues to elude us. Unfortunately, now the Pericans have increased their bounty again, and the Federation is getting involved. Things are hot right now. Might need to lay low for a while. We continued to search the safe house for more clues. Digging beneath the structure revealed a small stash of valuables and basic sanitation systems. Unfortunately, after scouring the area completely, we are unable to find any evidence of a piece of the celestial chart. But we collected more notebooks and papers in the hope of discovering a clue. Another entry stood out. This one was about the hive mind, Smegib, and it read, Time passes less slowly with a partner like Smegib. But is it worth splitting the glory? Sure, working with the hive mind has incredible value. Access to hundreds of drones in exchange for just a single cut of the profits. What a deal. But maybe the work they do takes away from my own achievements. I'm not sure I can live with the idea of sharing my legacy. I need to give this more thought. She writes on, This isn't how I want to be remembered. Smegib has been a loyal companion, but never let it be said I needed them. I can take on the galaxy solo. I'll leave my mark, and the glory will be mine, as well as the riches. Note to self, better send Smegib something to remember me by. These logs are all that we found. There's no trace of the captain or any sign of the celestial chart. Perhaps the gift to Smegib that was mentioned holds some clue into the whereabouts of the final piece. We must reopen communications with them. We attempted several times to reopen communications with the hive mind, but there was a problem. Either we were being ignored, or the communication signals were being blocked. We must revisit the Calicajak system in person to ascertain what has happened to Smigib. Upon entering the Calicajak system, we identified a sizable fleet bearing the flag of the pirate organization known as the Black Needle, in orbit of Smigib's planet. We believe that these pirates have been shadowing our movements and have raised the settlement housing the collective known as Smigib. They must be searching for the next piece of the celestial chart as well. No signs of sentient life remain on the planet. They have killed Smigib. We are receiving a transmission from their lead ship. The arthropod stands tall, its compound eyes glaring brightly. A disciplined demeanour is at odds with the fidgeting of mandibles, which irregularly click and shiver with excitement. It begins to speak. So we finally meet. How did you softshells manage to defeat Captain Who? Even that old cretin should have easily eliminated your pitiful fleet. You will pay for ransacking our base. But I must thank you for leading us here. I hunted that pitiful Smigib for over 100 cycles. Settling this ancient grudge means I'm due a big bounty, once I'm through with you. The captain continued on. Smigib was no challenge. We painted their hovel with blue blood. No fleet, no weapons. Someone would have whacked them sooner or later. No one crosses the Black Needle and survives. They were your friend? How quaint. You'll be joining them very soon. In the name of Silver Quill, we will have that chart from your still twitching corpses. We queried with the pirate who the Silver Quill was, and what he wanted. Who is Silver Quill? What a question. Our legendary founder was a mastermind. From a single ship, he built the Black Needle into a galaxy-spanning enterprise. The Black Needle lives on to carry his legacy. Your death will be the next note in our song. Do you not know what you have? This is the chart of Captain Ness's treasure. Every credit and jewel stashed throughout her lifetime. Its wealth belongs to us, and once we have it, we will sing our names into history. Every system will come to fear the Black Needle, and the first note in the chorus will be yours. Are we not generous? As before, with Captain Who, the pirates offered us the opportunity to give them the chart. We of course said no. After all, the bastards killed Smigib. They will pay. Just as before, we defeated the Black Needle pirate menace, and we had the planet to ourselves once more. Our initial thought was correct. The fourth piece of the celestial chart was found embedded in the stone statue of a drone from the now extinct collective, known as Smigib. The inscription on the statue reads as follows: To my loyal crewmate, a token of my appreciation, may your solitude be long and peaceful. Once this final piece of the chart is decoded, we can continue our search for Captain Ness's treasure hoard. In the meantime, Smigib's statue is going on display in the Grand Archive. Long may this poor hive mind be remembered. Like before, the chart took several months to properly decrypt. But once decoded, the new data fragment completed the celestial chart. Points of light shone at various nodes, indicating the interim destinations that we have discovered along the way. The four lights then flickered in unison and revealed another hidden system. Adding the final piece of the data has unlocked additional capabilities. The chart is not a simple map. It contains information on lost riches and illicit treasure troves across the galaxy, as collected by Captain Ness. Some of the data may have expired, but this device can feasibly detect hidden caches of valuable treasure across all of our systems. Furthermore, the chart contains appraisal information on every treasure the captain discovered throughout her career. These detailed notes explain how to identify, appraise, and present acquired valuables to potential sellers for maximum profit. Reactivating the device will provide designs for a unique treasure vault, allowing our colonies to take full advantage of the captain's unparalleled insight and add value to our treasure hoard. This completion is a momentous occasion for the Lodge. With all its secrets unlocked, we are pointed to one inescapable destination, the Sayidalhura system. We have overcome many obstacles, but we are now one step away. Only one question remains: what lies at the end of the chart? There is no guarantee of success, but we would not have it any other way. Let us strike forth to see this adventure through. The map has led us to a previously uncharted black hole, and the system is infested with disgusting creatures known as void worms. Having taken up nest in a derelict gateway nearby, the largest of the creatures circle the abandoned structure possessively. If we are to reach the trail's end, we must first eliminate these void worms and then repair the gate. We sent in our strike teams and made short but bloody work of the beasts. The next task was to set about reactivating the gateway. Once we have re-established the link, we can travel to the final destination. The map goes no further. We are so very close. The repair and reactivation of the gateway took several painstaking years, but eventually we managed it. The gateway was now active, and all that remained is to discover what lies on the other side. We, along with 3 sizable strike forces, entered through the gate's event horizon, ready to greet whatever waited us on the other side, and it did not surprise us that the Black Needle had somehow beat us here, and were waiting for us in ambush. In comparison to our last encounter, their ranks had swelled significantly to include decommissioned military ships and civilian vessels retrofitted with high-grade armaments. It appears that they have assembled the bulk of their reserve fleets for this confrontation. At the centre of the fleet lies their flagship, a massive Titan-class vessel. While their formation is indeed battle-ready, most of their ships have not yet primed their weapons. It appears they wish to negotiate. We are receiving a transmission from the flagship. On screen appeared Cobalt Quill, captain of the Black Needle. Despite his small stature, the pirate captain emanates gravitas. His eyes are calculating. He weighs us up, as if we are part of a complex equation, and after some time he addresses us. At last we finally meet. Cobalt Quill at your service, captain of the illustrious Black Needle. You have been a thorn in my side for a great many years, but I'm reasonable if nothing else. I come to you with an offer. We will give you a significant bounty for your completed chart and allow you to leave with your meaningless lives intact. If you refuse, we will have no choice but to take what we want by force. Our naval superiority notwithstanding, we have infiltrated your empire at several key points. A single command of mine is all that keeps you from total ruin. But I'm willing to provide a significant bounty in exchange for Captain Ness's completed relic. If you accept this generous offer, I am prepared to forgive all of your past misdeeds. There is no need for the conflict between us to continue or escalate. I know everything there is to know about the Oviron Lodge, your supply chains, the location of your resource silos, the distribution of your starbases. I have eyes on every trusted individual within your leadership, as well as their loved ones. Everything is meticulously accounted for. My people have done the research, and I know exactly how to dismantle your empire. I will starve your planets, steal your supplies, and destroy whatever remains. We pondered for a moment before responding. Whatever was going on here was clearly not just about wealth and trinkets. We questioned Captain Quill, and it would appear that we were on the right track, but he responded. 5,000 years ago, my ancestor, the great Silver Quill, was the first mate of Captain Ness. He gave her years of loyal service, and how was he repaid? Betrayal. She handed him over to the authorities and pocketed the bounty. But of course, no prison could contain the mighty Silver Quill. After a daring escape, he rose from the proverbial ashes, forging his motley crew into the legendary Black Needle that stands before you today. Swearing revenge against the traitorous Captain Ness, he dedicated his life to looting her treasure and burying her legacy under the weight of his own success. I am simply finishing what he started. This chart is the key to reclaiming what is rightfully ours. Now please, hand it over. Captain Quill had made a bold proposition, but it was one that we were never going to accept. We had come too far to give up now, and despite the pirate armada in front of us, we suspected that they would probably flee when faced with the might of an organised military navy. Thus, we rejected their offer. What came next was, and remains to date, the largest fleet engagement in Oviron history. A full 3 strike forces. Battleships, cruisers, destroyers, and even our largest ship, a newly outfitted Titan, engaged the enemy. Unknown to us at the time, the Black Needle had also launched an all-out assault, unleashing chaos across our star systems. assembly lines ground to a halt, generators burnt out, and essential administrative infrastructure was taken offline. Ships were disappearing, research stations had their data wiped, and mines collapsed at 5 times the typical rate. The devastation across our empire was untold, the result of the insidious handiwork of thousands of malevolent actors working in tandem. There was a vast network of saboteurs hidden among our colonies, and they seemed to be one step ahead of us. It took years to root out all their agents and greatly disrupted our empire's ability to function. But eventually, we did manage to purge their agents, and even one of our top scientists turned out to be a leader among them. They were executed for their crimes. But back to the immediate battle. After we had defeated the Black Needle fleet and disabled Captain Quill's flagship Titan, he once again opened a channel, and he said, "Ness's children. How ironic. She chose you, do you know that? Hundreds of species to choose from, and she chose you. Maybe she saw something special in you, or maybe it was complete chance. Either way, here we are. You win, for now. Do not dare take this victory lightly. You have made a powerful enemy in us. The Black Needle does not forgive, and we do not forget. As my ancestors did before me, we will persevere. We will rebuild what we have lost, piece by piece. Even if it takes 1,000 years, 1,000,000 years, we will return and reclaim everything that you have stolen from us. The Black Needle will live forever." Shortly after this transmission, Captain Quill's ship's plasma core exploded, taking him and his crew down with their ship. All that remained for us to do now was to explore the great pale blue vivarium orbiting the system star. Despite its abandoned appearance, many of the building systems were active. Given the alleged nature of Captain Ness, we were cautious of unexpected security measures. The singular entrance of the treasure trove had an indent carved into its central hatch. It would turn out that the celestial chart was a key, and the vault was its lock. We inserted the chart into the main hatch of the megastructure. The chart activated, internally tracing a singular beam of light to each star along our journey. Ancient machinery grown to life, and we were soon inside. Incredible treasures looted from 1,000 worlds lined the floor and walls in abundance. Delicate statues are juxtaposed against assault weapons forged in precious metals. Fine jewelry hangs from the extremities of antique fossils, and complex devices are piled up in an orderless heap. Metallic footsteps rang out from the central walkway. Arms raised in surrender, a fluid-filled humanoid machine approached us. Its voice circuits crackle into activation. "So, you found my chart after all. Aren't you clever?" Despite the limited expressions available in her robotic form, the machine known as Captain Ness regarded us with a certain smugness. Her metallic body shows no sign of wear and tear, as if only recently assembled. Her tone is patient, yet patronizing, as if addressing one below her status. I suppose some introduction is in order, though you may have already guessed who I am. The name's Sayidalhura Ness, or at least it was. Former Pirate Queen of the Galaxy, and current occupant of this cold pile of bolts. The machine paused for a moment, taking in our forms. "It's been quite a long time since I last saw your species. Looks like you primitives are all grown up. I must say, I'm quite impressed that you've made it here. Immortality doesn't come cheap. I paid some scientists from the Keepers of Knowledge a few million credits to transfer my consciousness without raising the alarm. They did a fair job, but I can't dance as well as I used to." The machine activates a console, revealing a hidden chamber in the wall. Within an ancient cryopod are the remains of her organic being. Here I am, a useless ornament, but I'm a bit sentimental. I looked good, didn't I? Once I checked that everything was in place, I locked up this vault and powered down for a few thousand years. Next thing I know, you've opened the door and we're having this conversation. It feels like only yesterday I laid down to sleep. We queried where the captain acquired all of the treasure, to which she responded, "Stole it, mostly, or traded it for other ill-gotten goods. I ripped off every major player in the galaxy once upon a time. Cargo ships, colossus weapons, you name it, I've hijacked it. My logic was that if I could take something so easily from you, you didn't care enough to deserve it. Things would sometimes get messy. You saw what happened to the Itterites. That one was an eye-opener. It's all fun and games until it's not anymore. We queried with the captain why she chose us. Would you believe me if I said I was lonely? The machine's vocal circuits crackled with what may have been laughter. I had all of this treasure, but for what? What does it get me in the end? I realised it wasn't riches I wanted, it was a legacy. But you can't steal a legacy, so how do you create one? Well, this was my shot at it. I found a few of the most promising primitives, and I seeded their worlds with treasure, and the map of course. Whoever pieced together my chart first would pass the test and be worthy of inheriting my life's work. So here we are. Maybe your kind can do what I could not, and put all of this to good use. I'm passing on the torch. I'm not good at spending money, only taking it. I couldn't give it away to just anyone though. They had to be clever enough to reach this place. A crew I could be proud of, and one that I could share my story with. We asked the captain to recount her story. Well, since you asked, the machine activates a console, and a series of digital recordings are projected across the wall. This entire vault is my biography. I paid a great deal to a team of authors to record every moment of my life that could be remembered. They did a fair job of it, I think. The images shift to a cockpit image of a pirate crew, the biological form of Captain Ness in command. A short crackle escapes the machine's voice circuits. It has the weight of a sigh. I was once the most feared pirate in the galaxy. I bankrupt megacorporations, ransomed planets, and reduced entire empires to rubble. Anyone foolish enough to oppose me got a blade in their neck or was sold off for bounty. My own bounty? It was astronomical. Digital recordings of various hold-ups, heists, and daring escapes, all set to heroic music, are projected. At first, I picked my targets carefully and found some justification as to why they deserved it. Each job was more exciting than the last. It was a cycle: planning, demonizing, robbing, and then celebrating. The problem was that looking for bad targets was too time-consuming. I needed to expand my horizon. Eventually, if there was something I wanted, I'd just take it. I enjoyed watching the numbers go up, the price of my bounty and the value of my hoard. I was leaving my mark on the world, and I'd never be forgotten. Everything else was unimportant. We asked her what changed. The Itterite homeworld is displayed in ruin. Then, the Itterite incident happened. You saw it. I still remember the cries on the radio as the last of their lives was snuffed out. Things went too far. It was time for a change. There was a pattern I discovered over my career. History fades, lessons are forgotten, and someone new takes your place. I simply wanted to be able to pick who came after me. And that's you. You passed the test. And what happens next is up to you. We had, finally, after decades of following this chart and chasing this treasure, time to think. This grand archive contains an incredible bounty of wealth. We must, however, consider the consequences of claiming it in our name. Every credit, every piece of treasure was earned illegally. Taking these resources would represent a tolerance of Captain Ness's excessive criminality in exchange for material wealth. That said, many of those wronged by Captain Ness are long gone. Claiming this wealth would create no new victims. Furthermore, we have decimated the Black Needle and thus made the galaxy a safer place. Having travelled this long path fraught with danger, we arguably deserve a sizable reward for our efforts. We must make a decision on what to do with its contents. We debated internally for several days. Eventually we came to the conclusion that given the effort and the journey that we had been on, this booty was ours to claim. If when cataloguing it we found an artifact with particular cultural relevance to another empire, we could still choose to give that one back, but to simply give it all up for some higher morale. Too many people had died for that. Captain Ness was impressed at how quickly we emptied her vault. Go ahead, you deserve it. There's a lot of blood, sweat and tears in this treasure. Don't spend it all in one place, at once, she said. The question remained, however, of what to do with Captain Ness herself. As an experienced pilot who had served a multitude of dangerous encounters, she would be an excellent asset to our military as a commander. Alternatively, she could play a more supporting role within our ranks to train the next generation of pilots. We could, however, simply incarcerate her to set an example to our citizens that no crime goes unpunished. She would have an awfully long time to think about what she had done. But, given her skill and experience, we decided to offer the captain the opportunity to join us and command a fleet of her own. She is, after all, an incredibly capable commander, and we believe she'll be a great asset to our fledgling empire. Besides, we could always throw her in prison at a later date if we wanted to, though we probably shouldn't mention that to her. And so, we find ourselves at the end of the rainbow. Now it is time to forge our own destiny. With no chart left to follow, the stars themselves will be our guide. What will we achieve? How will we be remembered? Now our story truly begins. A very interesting tale indeed, my lords. Perhaps we should seek out this lodge. It appears that they have some rare artifacts, fit for pillaging. Thanks for watching, folks. If you want to hear about the Voidworm Plague, the new mid-game crisis with Grand Archive, then please click the video on screen now.